Good morning, Central Florida. I'm Kirsten O'Connor.
It is 4:56 on this Tuesday morning. I'm Justin Moore. Bridget has the day off, and we are following multiple breaking stories overnight. First, an hours-long murder investigation in an Orange County community. What deputies are telling us about a man shot and killed.
Plus, a collapse at a shopping center, leaving a person trapped. The rush to save the victim and clean up the damage left behind.
We'll get to those stories and much more coming up. But first, let's get a first look at weather and traffic on this Tuesday. Samara Kokinas in for Trooper Steve. And meteorologist Troy Bridges joins us with a look at your Tuesday forecast.
You know what? A little bit of a change today. We are going to see some rain chances, not quite as hot as we saw yesterday. Yesterday, some record highs. We'll talk more about it. We got up to 92 in Orlando today, near 90, so not a huge change. Rain chances at 40%. We're starting off muggy with lots of humid air and, yes, indeed, some patchy fog across Central Florida. Then late tonight, most of it comes to an end, and we'll see much lower rain chances as we head closer to your Wednesday and definitely on Thursday, which is Halloween for trick-or-treating. We'll have that official trick-or-treating forecast. But again, highs today well above that average. 82 is the average. We get up to 89 in Sanford, 89 in Leesburg today, 88 in Melbourne, 89 in Palm Coast, and 88 in Ocala. Coming up, we will pinpoint those rain chances for Halloween, much better, but also some heat to deal with. Just how hot? Straight ahead. First, let's check on the roads and head over to Samara Kokinas, or Pinpoint Traffic, brought to you by Napleton Automotive.
Thank you, Troy. We already have a crash this morning, I-4 westbound at Fairbanks Avenue. Now, there's no roadblock, but it's still out there alongside the road, so just be careful as crews work to clear that scene. There's also another crash on Bear Road in Denton Hall. This is down by the 528, getting closer to Dateweiler, so just be careful out there. No roadblock there. I-4 eastbound. This is right at Colonial, and as you take a look here, you do notice, actually, this is not Colonial. I put the wrong banner on there. Sorry about that. This is down by Graves Avenue in Volusia County, exiting Seminole County, and that's where we're starting to see that fog develop. I do have some very foggy roads to show you. I'll have that coming up in just a few minutes. The morning news starts right now.
Live with ClickOrlando.com, this is News 6 Mornings at 5, getting results.
Breaking overnight, a neighborhood becomes a crime scene. A man shot and killed just hours ago. We are live with the investigation that is still unfolding.
Also breaking, a scare at a shopping center. Part of the building collapses right on top of someone. A live update on the rescue mission and the cleanup effort. Plus, boy.
We know that this is just the beginning, and we want to honor Nicole. We want to,
family and friends tearfully remembering a murdered mother. Their touching tribute as two suspects face charges in her death. Good Tuesday morning, Central Florida. Your time right now is 5 a.m. I'm Kirsten O'Connor.
And I'm Justin Moore. Bridget and Trooper Steve have the day off. Samara Kokinas is in watching the roads for us this morning. And meteorologist Troy Bridges has your pinpoint forecast. Yesterday was brutal.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? The word of the day. We got up to 92 in Orlando, tied the record set back in 2010. So more heat, but not quite as much. We'll take what we can get. We're going to shave a couple of degrees off of that today. And also looking ahead to Thursday evening for Halloween, temperatures pretty warm. We'll be in the upper 70s, near 80 degrees. But the good news is rain chances taper off to 20% for the afternoon. And as we head into trick-or-treat time, 20% mainly after 9 o'clock. So looking better and better. Here's a live view of downtown Orlando with the Orlando Health Cam. Samara's been talking about that fog. We'll be watching those visibilities very closely, but you can see a little haze out there in downtown. 78 is what it feels like. 77 is the actual temperature. 80 is the temperature right now at Cocoa Beach. We will see a 40% coverage of rain, mainly after 2 o'clock today. Much like yesterday, embedded, there will be a couple of thunderstorms and a high of 90, well above the average of 82. Let's check on those roads now and head over to Samara Kokinas, or Pinpoint Traffic, brought to you by Napleton Automotive.
Yeah, that's right. We're already starting to see that fog develop on I-4. This is right around Graves Avenue again, and that is the incorrect banner I put on there, so my apologies. But this is that fog that we're dealing with out there this morning. So just be careful. The farther north you go, that's where you're really going to run into some thicker fog, like what Troy was just mentioning. I-95 northbound in Flagler County, and then going back west toward Bunnell, you'll definitely run into some thicker patches of fog there, so be careful. Remember to use those low beams, not your high beams. That way you can definitely navigate safely through that. We also have a road closure. It's actually Turnpike northbound, Osceola Parkway to OBT. All the northbound lanes are blocked. Kirsten?
We are following breaking news overnight in Orange County. For the second night in a row, deputies are investigating a deadly shooting, this one in the middle of a neighborhood. The scene has been unfolding since late last night along Virgo Court. That's in the Sky Lake South subdivision north of Hunters Creek. Ezzy Castro is there live in the area this morning. So Ezzy, what is the latest?
Well, Kirsten, deputies have been here all night long, and this morning you can see that they still have this portion of Virgo Court blocked off as they continue to investigate. Now, Orange County deputies say they got the call at around 11 o'clock last night in reference to a shooting at a home here on Virgo Court and Zodiac Drive. They found a male shot, and paramedics immediately took him to the hospital, but unfortunately he died after. And we were here last night as the scene unfolded, and deputies ended up blocking most of the street with yellow crime scene tape, and so far deputies say they do not have any info as far as possible suspect or suspects. All they said is that this was an ongoing investigation. Now, back out here live, we're going to continue to ask more questions about what exactly happened out here last night and who the victim was. As soon as we learn more, we will pass that along. But for now, live in Orange County, Ezzy Castro, Getting Results, News 6.
All right, Ezzy, thank you. More breaking news overnight, this time in Winter Park. Part of a busy shopping center collapses. Rescuers rushed to save a person who was trapped last night at Aloma and Lakemont Avenues. Mark Lehman is live outside that plaza for us this morning. Mark, crews have been busy cleaning up that mess.
Justin, they were here for several hours overnight. And I just want to set the scene for you guys out here. This shopping center is undergoing some facade work, and while that is happening, these businesses are still open to customers. Now, I want to show you exactly what happened out here. You can see a large section of ceiling came crashing down in front of the Tijuana Flats, and that is something that led to one person having to be rescued. Winter Park Fire Rescue sending out this image of the collapse outside the restaurant. A 911 call coming in around 9:30 last night. When firefighters arrived, they say one person was trapped underneath the debris. We're told that person was safely removed, but the extent of their injuries is unknown. In the hours that followed, you can see the situation that was left behind. One viewer sending us this video as workers cleaned up and secured the area. The question this morning is, how safe is all of this? This is a very popular shopping center, and you can only imagine how much worse this could have been if the collapse happened in the middle of the day during the lunch hour rush. Now, back out here this morning, we are working to learn from more from the construction company behind this construction, and if this collapse will lead to any changes for businesses out here. Meanwhile, the cause of all of this is something that remains under investigation. For now, reporting live in Winter Park, Mark Lehman, Getting Results, News 6.
All right, Mark, thank you. A sea of candlelight and heartbreak in Osceola County. Hundreds of friends and family coming together to remember murdered mother Nicole Montalvo.
She's always a part of me, and I know she's here right now, seeing everyone here, and she's ecstatic.
Montalvo's twin brother was one of several family members who spoke at the vigil last night at Lakefront Park, one of her favorite spots. The 33-year-old had been missing for nearly a week when investigators confirmed over the weekend they found her remains at a property belonging to her ex-husband's family. Deputies continued searching that area yesterday. Meantime, the husband, Christopher Otero Rivera, was back in court after being charged with first-degree murder. His father, Angel Rivera, is also charged, but right now he is in the hospital. Deputies still aren't saying how the two allegedly killed Montalvo or why. Now, as for Montalvo's family, they say their focus will now be caring for her 8-year-old son. They have set up a fundraiser, and we have put those details on clickorlando.com. Mayor, thank you. 5:10 coming up, new details on the death of the world's most wanted man.
The image from the president connected to the raid that took down the leader of ISIS, plus the push for a Space Coast stop along a high-speed rail. The spot leaders say is the perfect place to let travelers on and off. But first,
there was no anything. There was no pressure put on him, no anything.
Another denial from President Trump as Democrats change their strategy when they now say they'll plan to hold a vote on formal impeachment proceedings. You're watching News 6 Mornings. Here's a live look from the Orlando Health Cam. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Bogan Munz & Munz, your full-service law firm since 1979.
Major developments this morning in the impeachment inquiry against President Trump.
Democratic leaders are changing course, announcing they'll take the first vote on the investigation this week.
A pastor and popular radio host accused of abusing a girl for years is dead less than 2 weeks after bonding out of the Orange County jail. Altamont Springs police say Brian Fullwider apparently took his own life over the weekend. We told you earlier this month about his arrest on sexual battery charges after a woman says Fullwider abused her for years, starting when she was 14 and he was working as a pastor at a church in Winter Park. His lawyer blamed media coverage of the arrest for Fullwider's death, saying his, quote, rights were denied. Tragedy on the tracks in Osceola County. Kissimmee police are reviewing surveillance video after a man was hit and killed by a Sunrail train. Traffic was blocked for hours yesterday morning along Monument Avenue. Investigators say the signal was working and the arms were down when 25-year-old Michael McCrae was hit. He died at the scene. It's not known, though, why he was on the tracks.
This morning, some leaders in Brevard County are hoping a Space Coast stop will be built along Virgin Train's new rail line that will soon connect Orlando to Miami. The original plan for what was initially known as Brightline was to go through the Space Coast without making a stop. But Brevard County's Transportation Authority says there's opportunity for an economic boost by adding a stop. Adding Virgin Trains already owns the area around US 1 and the Beach Line in Cocoa.
We're centralized here with Port Canaveral. We also have the Kennedy Space Center. This train might be an opportunity to bring even more tourists to Brevard County.
The first trains could be running by 2022. County leaders are hoping a stop will be built sometime after that. Now to a heartwarming arrival at Orlando International Airport.
Yes, a group of children from overseas is in town for a special vacation. Video posted to the airport's Twitter page shows the dream flight landing yesterday. Check out those costumes. The flight from London brought nearly 200 children with serious illnesses and disabilities right here to Central Florida. Wow. They are going to spend 10 days here with the help of doctors, nurses, and volunteers. I bet I know where they're going, Troy.
I do too.
I got a hunch.
They have a few choices.
Yeah, no doubt. So what a great place to send them.
Yeah.
I mean, the weather is cooperating. It's cooperating for the most part. Could be a lot worse.
Yesterday was brutal. We got up to 92. We're going to start to see those temperatures getting back close to the average. People are asking, when will the front come that moves in and cools us down and stays that way? It looks like as we head into the end of the weekend Sunday, we're going to see those temperatures back close to where they should be in the low 80s, possibly the upper 70s. In fact, that's what we're forecasting for Sunday. So hold tight for that. We have this front that's not doing much, trying to bring some rain along the immediate coast. But here are the temperatures. Look at the average, 82. We're getting all the way up to 87 in Daytona Beach, 91 in Kissimmee, 89 in Leesburg, and 89 in the Villages. But let's get results with your 7-day forecast as we take you into Halloween. And here is some good timing. There have been years where we've had rain, where it's been extremely hot for all the kiddos. Well, we're only going to see a 20% chance for rain through the day. After 9 o'clock, we're going to taper rain off to 10%. So rain not a big factor. Of course, 89 will be the high on Thursday, but expect temperatures in the upper 70s around trick-or-treat time after 8 o'clock. Look, we set the clock back 1 hour before bed on Saturday night. Woohoo! It's the most wonderful time of the year. I hit that wrong. Let's check on the roads now and head over to Samara Kokinas. Her pinpoint traffic brought to you by Napleton Automotive. That means we'll have a better sunrise each morning, and we get that extra hour.
Yeah, I love that extra hour we get back. It's always my favorite time of year, too. This is the 408 looking at OBT, and everything is running pretty smooth out there on the 408 this morning. So that's the good news. Everything is in the green there. But if you're going on I-4 westbound, right around Fairbanks, so there is a crash off to the side of the road. So just be aware of that. There could be still people out there working to clear that scene. Also, there's some road construction on the northbound turnpike from Osceola Parkway to OBT. All of those northbound lanes are blocked right now due to construction. So yes, we have that ongoing construction scene pretty much all over the turnpike. Definitely be careful out there. I'll touch more on the fog coming up in just a few minutes. Guys, back to you.
Samara, thanks so much. Time is running out to weigh in on a hot button issue.
At the bottom of the hour, where you can give your thoughts on start times for Orange County schools. First, though, could weight loss surgery help some kids? The new guidelines recommending the procedure for the very first time. That's next. somewhere between I-4 and Brevard County, I cut my teeth. I learned how to listen, be of service. I learned from obstacles and realized I was going nowhere. Let me clarify. You see, in Central Florida, people come and go. For me, I'm sticking it out. From Kissimmee to Daytona, these are my roots, and I take this job seriously because today's challenges could be tomorrow's results. No one happier than those pets.
My cat would never go for that.
No.
There's no way.
They'll be freaking out.
Yeah. Well, still to come. Police stepping up patrols in an Orlando neighborhood.
The frightening attack that has neighbors on high alert. First, though, breaking overnight, a person trapped after part of a shopping center comes crashing down. A live update on the cleanup already underway.
Live, this is News 6 Mornings, getting results.
Breaking overnight, a man killed after gunfire erupts in a neighborhood. We are live at the scene, still unfolding.
Also breaking overnight, one person rescued after a partial building collapse. The all-night work to make sure no one else gets hurt.
And stepped up patrols in an Orlando neighborhood after 2 violent attacks. The latest victim raped right outside her home. The help police are now asking for. Good morning, Central Florida. Your time right now is 5:30. I'm Kirsten O'Connor.
And I'm Justin Mormith. We're glad you're with us on this Tuesday. Bridget has the day off. We do want to start this morning with a check of your pinpoint weather with meteorologist Troy Bridges.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Troy.
Good morning, guys. We are pinpointing some fog. In fact, we're looking for the headless horseman, I think, as we get closer to Halloween.
Breaking overnight, gunfire erupts in the middle of an Orange County neighborhood, leaving one man dead. And now investigators are trying to figure out what led to the violence. The shooting happened at a home along Virgo Court. That's in the Sky Lakes South subdivision. Ezzy Castro joins us live from the scene this morning. Have deputies said anything about the gunman, Ezzy?
And now to a new round of blackouts set for today as wildfires continue to rage in California. This morning, the state's largest utility will shut off power to 1.5 million people in hopes of stopping any more fires from starting. The move comes as hundreds of firefighters work around the clock to stop the spread of the largest fire, known as the Kincaid Fire. Officials warn it may take until next week at the earliest to fully contain the flames. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, the Getty Fire swept through some of the country's most expensive neighborhoods, giving homeowners like Arnold Schwarzenegger and LeBron James just minutes to flee.
They were literally overwhelmed. They had to make some tough decisions on which houses they were able to protect.
Firefighters say while the winds did die down a bit yesterday, they are expected to pick back up today, making their job that much harder.
Former Vice President Joe Biden's campaign has a little more cash this morning after a stop in Central Florida. Biden spoke to about 80 supporters yesterday at a private fundraiser held at the home of attorney Mark Nejame. Cameras were not allowed inside, but we know Biden used his speech to criticize President Trump, as well as the Medicare plans being proposed by some of his Democratic presidential opponents. Biden also attended another fundraiser last night in South Florida. Thank you. 541, a recall alert involving a popular anti-anxiety drug.
Coming up, the pills being pulled from pharmacies over fears they could make you sick.
First, though, an arrest months after the death of a toddler who fell from a cruise ship. Up next, a family member now locked up and facing charges.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Ford.
Wake up! It's the morning. You're just trying to get everything you need.
And we've got it all right here.
The news happening in your neighborhood.
Great news for people in Brevard County today.
Is your commute going to be rough?
Yeah, Trooper Stevie's like our secret weapon.
I'm going to get you around this mess right here.
And Troy does the pinpoint weather for you.
Just have the reindeer handy, make sure the kids are ready.
Plus, we have a lot of fun.
And you will too.
And that's why we say you got to watch before you go.
Wake up with us.
It's News 6 Mornings, getting results.
A scary sight now from outer space, just in time for Halloween.
Yeah, the Hubble Space Telescope captured a spooky scene from another galaxy. Take a look here.
Ooh.
What do you think? What do you think?
That is spooky.
Yeah, it almost looks like a face, right? However, NASA says there is a very unspooky explanation to this. Scientists say it's actually the result of 2 galaxies colliding.
Well, that's a little scary.
Yeah.
In a different way.
It's far enough away, right?
I'm glad our galaxy is.
Yeah,
right. The glowing eyes of the face represent the center of a galaxy, and young blue stars help make out the outline there. So in case you're wondering, the system is 704 million light years from Earth.
That's good. We're happy to know that.
Far
But what a
away.
sight. I just
What a
love
telescope.
all the stuff they're able to get out there now.
That Hubble Space Telescope is something.
Gosh,
It's
just
impressive.
imagine in the years to come what we're going to learn. Well, you know what? We've been waiting for the front, the first major front to come in here and sweep the moisture out and lead to cooler temperatures, right?
It's like, where are you, Christmas?
Don't get me singing it because you know I almost did. Almost did. Yeah, we've got a big area of high pressure off to our east. That's going to be blocking the front that we have in place today. It's sort of stalled just to our north, acting as a focal point like yesterday for more of those afternoon storms. So as that high continues to stay parked off to our east and northeast, it will block almost like a brick wall any fronts trying to move in here. Now that will change as we head into Sunday. So it does look like Sunday is going to be the coolest air of the season so far. We're talking about high temperatures, dare I say, in the 70s by Sunday. So hold tight. We're going to get to that in the 7-day planning forecast straight ahead. But it could be worse. We've had it much worse. A high in the upper 80s before we begin that cool down. Right now it's 80 in Cocoa Beach, 77 in Orlando, 76 in Ocala. But here's a look at the pinpoint accurate forecast.
This forecast is brought to you by Fairwinds Credit Union.
Getting up to 90 degrees today with that 40% coverage of rain, a lot like we saw yesterday. And then we taper rain off after 8 o'clock to 10% with temperatures in the mid-70s at 11. So there's the clouds and rain forecast. We'll see a few of those showers and storms bubbling up across central Florida as we have that boundary in place. Eventually, it will not be a big factor heading into the end of the week as a new front moves in. 89 the high today in Sanford and in Leesburg, 88 in Melbourne. But let's get results and show you when that front moves in and cools us down with the 7-day forecast. As we do, you'll see Sunday's high temperature getting up to 79 degrees after 90 today and tomorrow. Thursday, though, Halloween, hot but better for trick-or-treating. We also set that clock back 1 hour before bed on Saturday night. We get that extra hour of sleep. Let's check on the roads and head over to Samara Kokinas for Pinpoint Traffic, brought to you by Napleton Automotive, watching for fog and what else?
Yeah, definitely just watching that fog right now. But this is Brevard County near I-95 and the Pineda Causeway. Everything is in the clear. In fact, Brevard County, you're in the clear. It's when you go north, headed toward Ormond Beach, going into Flagler County. That's where the thickest fog is really in play. And in fact, when you headed westbound from Y-95 going westbound to Bunnell on 100, you're definitely going to run into some thick fog. This is 40 from 95 all the way to Highway 11. Your visibility is hardly anything to up to maybe a quarter-mile visibility. Remember, that highway is unlit. Be careful. Use your low beams so you can navigate safely. Guys?
Thanks so much, Samara. 5:52 now. A new recommendation when it comes to kids dealing with obesity.
Ahead at 6, a procedure doctors are now recommending to help some of them slim down.
But first, breaking overnight, a man shot and killed in the middle of a neighborhood. The latest developments from the scene next as we check our big stories. 5:56, let's check our big stories. And for the second night in a row, Orange County deputies are investigating a deadly shooting. The latest happened in the Sky Lake South subdivision. Deputies, though, are not saying anything yet about the victim or possible suspects.
Also breaking overnight, a person had to be rescued after part of a strip mall collapsed in Winter Park. The plaza on Aloma Avenue had been undergoing renovations.
And family and friends are remembering a mother murdered in Osceola County. A vigil was held last night for Nicole Montalvo on the same day her estranged husband was denied bond on murder charges. New developments in an Orlando crime alert.
Ahead at 6, the sketch police want you to see after a young girl says that she was nearly abducted.
With clickorlando.com, this is News 6 Mornings at 6, getting results.
Breaking overnight, a neighborhood becomes a crime scene. A man shot and killed just hours ago. We are live with the investigation that's still unfolding.
Also breaking, a scare at a shopping center. Part of the building collapses right on top of someone. A live update on the rescue mission and the cleanup effort. Plus,
boy.
We know that this is just the beginning, and we want to honor Nicole.
Family and friends tearfully remembering a murdered mother. Their touching tribute as 2 suspects face charges in her death. Good Tuesday morning to you, Central Florida. Your time right now is 6 a.m. I'm Kirsten O'Connor.
And I'm Justin Mormith. Bridget and Trooper Steve have the day off. Samara Kokinis, though, is in watching the roads for us. And meteorologist Troy Bridges is pinpointing your forecast. Both of you guys are pinpointing some fog this morning.
Team traffic and weather together this morning as we are seeing reduced visibilities, especially in Flagler and in Volusia counties. It is getting a little bit better at times, but you have to keep in mind this is fluctuating. So a traffic alert and a weather alert. This morning, I just sent out a push alert with our Pinpoint Weather app. That's the little video that I just did. We're waiting for the update, and there it is as we show you this front that is continuing to sort of stall out in northern zones. That'll be a focal point for some showers, even a few thunder showers this afternoon with a 40% coverage. Look at the visibilities. Again, in our northern counties, we're seeing reduced visibilities down to about a quarter of a mile in Palm Coast for Flagler County. Many other areas seeing patches of fog, including Ocala and also Sanford and Seminole County, large part of Volusia County. So far, looking pretty good in some of those spots, but there will be some pockets that are difficult to drive through, likely through 7:30. After 9, most of it burns off. Look at the temperatures, upper 70s in many spots, even 80 degrees in Cocoa Beach right now. We're headed to 90 by 4 o'clock today with a 40% coverage of rain, mainly after 2. It gets much better as we head into your trick-or-treat time on Thursday, and then a new front is going to drastically drop temperatures by Sunday. We'll take you through it. First, let's check on the roads and head over to Samara Kokinis for Pinpoint Traffic, brought to you by Napleton Automotive.
Thank you, Troy. We're looking at 429 right around the turnpike, and everything is running pretty smooth out there this morning. No major delays there and no fog to speak of. There's also no fog out there on 192 from St. Cloud going into Kissimmee. Everything is pretty good. The turnpike running through that area is all in the green, so no delays there. I-4 as you head from the City Beautiful through Altamont, Lake Mary, and then you get towards Sanford. That's where you're going to start to see a little bit of fog development. Notice that fog through 17 also headed back toward the east toward Geneva. Definitely dealing with some thicker fog there. I'm going to show you where the thickest fog is on the roadways and how long you can expect to see that happen coming up in just a few minutes. Kirsten, back to you.
Thank you, Samara. We are following breaking news overnight in Orange County. For the second night in a row, deputies are investigating a deadly shooting. This one in the middle of a neighborhood. This scene has been unfolding since late last night along Virgo Court. That's in the Sky Lake South subdivision north of Hunters Creek. Ezzy Castro is live for us this morning in the area. So Ezzy, what is the latest? And new this morning, the man accused of driving drunk while causing a hit-and-run crash that killed a UCF student has pleaded not guilty to the charges. Yusuf Hassan was set to be arraigned in an Orange County courtroom today, but court documents show he filed paperwork yesterday entering the plea. Prosecutors say Hassan hit London Herald back in June. She died days later at the hospital. Hassan is out of jail on bond.
We'll be asking Orange County deputies today if they have any leads in the search for whoever shot and killed a man at an apartment complex. We brought you this scene along Rio Grande Avenue live as breaking news yesterday morning. The sheriff's office says Deshae Harrell was found lying on the ground at the Courtyard Villas apartments. He died at the hospital. So far, deputies haven't released any details about a possible suspect.
After a fight that's gone on for months, raises for hundreds of Brevard County teachers should be a done deal by the end of today. Our news partners at Florida Today were there earlier this month when the district and union finally reached a compromise on this new contract. It includes raises of up to $2,000 along with an extra $1,200 bonus for teachers who have been with the district for 12 years or longer. Tonight's meeting is set for 5:30 at school district headquarters in Viera.
See you soon, Samara. Thank you. 6:11 coming up. New details on the death of the world's most wanted man.
The image from the president connected to the raid that took down the leader of ISIS. Plus, the push for a Space Coast stop along a high-speed rail. The spot leaders say is the perfect place to let travelers on and off. But first,
there was no anything. There was no pressure put on him, no anything.
Another denial from President Trump as Democrats change their strategy when they now plan to hold a vote on formal impeachment proceedings. You're watching News 6 Mornings. Here's a live look from the Orlando Health Camera. We'll be right back.
This morning's Bus Stop Forecast is brought to you by Bogan Munz & Munz.
What if? What if there were a news team who listened to you, stood for you, by you, and had your back.
A news team that not only changed laws to keep you safe, but put bad guys behind bars.
It protected you when you needed it most.
That news team is News 6, and these are just some of the people we've helped.
Some like to call it a movement. We like to call it
Getting Results. And we can do it for you. We're News 6, Getting Results.
Live, this is News 6 Mornings, Getting Results.
Breaking overnight, a man killed after gunfire erupts in a neighborhood. We are live at the scene, still unfolding.
Also breaking overnight, one person rescued after a partial building collapse. The all-night work to make sure no one else gets hurt.
And stepped up patrols in an Orlando neighborhood after 2 violent attacks. The latest victim raped right outside of her home. The help police are now asking for. Good morning, Central Florida. Your time right now is 6:30. I'm Kirsten O'Connor.
And I'm Justin Mormith. Thanks for staying with us on this Tuesday. Bridget has the day off, and we do want to start with a check of your pinpoint weather this morning. Meteorologist Troy Bridges has been pinpointing fog throughout the morning.
A fog alert, you guys, as we are pinpointing the worst of this, likely getting closer to sunrise around 7:35. You can see right now the worst of it north of this region. We're showing you Daytona Beach right now, where you see the haze in the atmosphere. There will be some patches of dense fog in Volusia County, but the worst in Flagler County. Look at this. Calm winds, 100% humidity. That is a bit of a recipe for some fog. We are at 76 in Daytona Beach, but look at this. Visibilities have been down to 0 at times in Flagler County, where you're seeing the white. That's where the fog is. The worst in Flagler, with visibilities now down to about 1/4 of a mile and less than a mile in Sanford and Seminole County. Let's check on those roads now and head over to Samara Kokinas. Her pinpoint traffic brought to you by Napleton Automotive. She's been really busy pinpointing the traffic. The fog, really. Is there any other problem that you're dealing with?
No, we're just seeing some traffic building up, and this is I-4 down by Celebration, getting closer to Osceola Parkway. So you see the traffic building up in both the east and westbound lanes, but it's not too bad. Now, we do have a crash to tell you about. This is in Bushnell. So 476 and 614, right at that intersection before 75. That intersection is blocked due to this crash. So just take it easy out there. You could expect some minor delays. Also, we have another crash to tell you about this time. It's in Orlando. It's on South Division at West Michigan Street. There is part of the road blocked out there, so crews are working to clear that scene. Just be careful and expect some minor delays, guys.
All right, Samara, thank you. 641, a recall alert involving a popular anti-anxiety drug.
Coming up, the pills being pulled from pharmacies over fears they could make you sick.
First, though, an arrest months after the death of a toddler who fell from a cruise ship. Up next, a family member now locked up and facing charges.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Papa John.
It shows that they really care about the community. Everybody sees it. Everybody knows it. That's why they're all here. We're all Central Florida.
A local athlete makes history with a single catch.
And the teen is the first female to catch a pass during a varsity football game at Cocoa High School.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Whistle.
The school posted this video showing wide receiver Ashley Anunau making the catch Friday night, and you hear her teammates there cheering her on.
Woohoo!
The Cocoa High Tigers went on to beat Holy Trinity 58-0.
Right.
I love that support from the team, right?
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
The camaraderie
Was that
there.
the coach, do you think, or maybe
I
her
don't know.
dad?
It sounded like those sounded like the players. They
Somebody
were pumped.
was, yeah, very excited to see her make that catch.
Supporting her, and she helped them, for sure. Well, you know what? We're pinpointing some big changes. We've been waiting for these changes. We want to cool down. A front that comes through and sweeps out this moisture and sweeps out the heat. We've got a front just to our north. It's not going to do that yet. We've got a secondary front that will come in as we head into your Sunday, really Saturday into Sunday, bringing a cool down Sunday afternoon. High temperatures only reaching the 70s by Sunday. So these hot temperatures not going to last too much longer, and it will feel much better as we head into Sunday. So go ahead and make some plans. We'll talk about those rain chances on the way as well. But here is how close we'll be to some records today. Yesterday, we tied the record in Orlando of 92 degrees set back in 2010. Today, we're getting up to 90. The record's 93, set way back in 1935. Melbourne getting up up to 88. The record's 89, set back in 2002. And Daytona Beach getting up to 87 today. The record not far, 89, set back in 2009. But let's get results and take you through these big changes in the 7-day forecast as we take you through the weekend. Before that, again, on Trick or Treat Thursday, Halloween looking pretty good, but hot, a high of 89, then cooling into the mid and upper 70s. This weekend, we see a high of only 79 on Sunday, and before we go to bed on Saturday night, we set that clock back 1 hour. We get an hour of sleep. Woohoo! Let's check on the roads and head over to Samara Kokinas for Pinpoint Traffic, brought to you by Napleton Automotive. I say it's the most wonderful time of the year.
It is, and you know, people going out that night get an extra hour out and about. That's at I-4 at the 408. Everything is running pretty smooth, as to be expected, but the thing about it is, as the morning goes on, of course, this traffic is going to be a tad bit slower. We are dealing with fog if you're headed on I-4, headed toward maybe Sanford and going into Volusia County toward DeLand and even Daytona Beach. You're going to be dealing with fog. You can see that fog extending back west of I-4 going into northwestern Volusia County as well. Keep in mind, on 40 from 95 all the way to 17 in Barberville, you're going to be dealing with visibilities down to a quarter mile at times. Please be careful. That is an unlit, dangerous stretch of road out there. We have a lot of crashes. Use your low beams so that you can navigate safely. We also have a crash, South Division and West Michigan. Definitely be careful out there, guys.
Thank you, Samara. 6:51 now. Breaking overnight, a man shot and killed in the middle of a neighborhood.
The latest developments from the scene next as we check our big stories.
News 6 meteorologist Troy Bridges and Mix 105.1 have teamed up to jumpstart your day. Sparkles! Getting you results with pinpoint weather on the go.
Oh, yeah.
News 6 and Mix 105.1. Some teams are just better together.
6:54, let's check our big stories, starting with Ezzy Castro and breaking news overnight in Orange County.
Justin, for a second night in a row, deputies are investigating another deadly shooting, this time at the Sky Lakes South subdivision. Now, investigators say they got the call late last night and they found a man shot. He was taken to the hospital but did not survive. And so far, though, deputies aren't saying anything about the victim or what may have led up to this, only that their investigation is ongoing. Once we get another update, we will have that on clickorlando.com. Mark?
Also breaking overnight, a big scare at the shopping plaza in Winter Park after part of the building came crashing down. The fire department says one person ended up trapped underneath debris late last night at the plaza here along Aloma Avenue. That person is expected to be okay, but crews worked for hours overnight to clean up the mess and make sure the area is safe. And we know this plaza right near Lakemont Avenue is in the process of being renovated, but the cause of this collapse is not yet known. Kirsten?
Park friends and family are remembering a mother murdered in Osceola County. A vigil was held last night for Nicole Montalvo. On the same day, her estranged husband was denied bond on murder charges.
And patrols have been stepped up in Orlando's Thornton Park neighborhood after a woman was attacked and raped. It is not far from where another woman was grabbed earlier this month. But police do not know if the cases are connected. Troy.
We are dealing with dense fog, especially in Flagler County, also Volusia County, and even in sections of Seminole County. So add some time as you hit the roads. We're giving the bus stop forecast to C across the board here. We're getting up to 90 with a 40% chance for rain. Most of the fog does burn off after 9. Samara?
Yeah, this is a look at that fog on I-4. This is at Saxon. So this is Seminole going into Volusia County, okay? This is how thick the fog is, folks. We're talking about visibilities down to a quarter mile at times, like Troy mentioned. So that extends all the way into Volusia, going into Flagler County, and then back over portions of northern Marion and even parts of western Sumter County now dealing with some of that fog. And again, you know, use your low beams to get through that safely. Low beams, not high beams, folks.
Right.
And give yourself enough space between you and other cars so you don't really get into an accident or crash.
And think about the kids who are standing at the bus stops.
They're really close to the road, yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us. You can get more news and traffic updates anytime on clickorlando.com.
CBS This Morning is next. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you later.